Across the region, birds and monkeys are dying at an alarming rate. Every year, as temperatures rise, wildlife conservationists have worked to combat the effects on animals. However, as this year continues to see severe weather conditions, they have had to double their efforts. Jamal Andrew Bone, Conservation Program Manager at the Belize Zoo, gave us some insight into the issue.
The zoo has, obviously we've been in a position where we've had to respond to animals in distress for a variety of environmental risks or disasters, and heat and fire are among those. So yes, we do get reports of animals seeming to be disoriented, dehydrated, exhausted from prolonged exposure to heat, and also lack of access to water, simply because the natural ponds and creeks that they would typically access do eventually dry up in the peak of the dry season, and so they have to move further afield looking for water, looking for food sources. And of course, this itself is a pressure on the animals, but then it also puts them at a higher chance of encountering humans and coming into conflict with humans.
He said that mammals and birds are some of the most affected animals, but reptiles, such as iguanas and snakes, have reacted poorly to the heat as well, as they struggle to regulate their body temperature. Nikki Buxton, Executive Director at the Belize Bird Rescue, told us how birds are coping with the heat.
I think they're probably all struggling. The beauty of birds is that they can fly and they can get away from these situations, which definitely gives them an edge over every other species that's not flighted. And the migrants are struggling. I think they're totally confused as to when they should migrate and what they're migrating into and what they travel through at that time as well. And it's not, we're talking about fires, but it's not just that. There's extreme weather all year round, and they encounter a lot of that during their migration patterns. But the birds that make Belize their home, the ones that rely on certain environments and have niche environments, they're the ones that are going to suffer the most.
Buxton said that due to the recent fires, the air quality has been especially poor for birds, affecting where they choose to build their nests. She said that there are limited resources to combat fires, and that the addition of fire beaters and hoses would assist the fire service in making fires more preventable. Andrew Bone says that the team at the Belize Zoo has been hard at work trying to aid the animals in beating the heat.
So this is not new. This is several decades where we've been advocating for more mindful application of fire and utilization of resources. And so what we have done, the zoo as an entity with its partners, one of the biggest efforts we've taken on to address this is we have, for the last few years, we have been part of a working group that specifically deals with fire management issues in central Belize. And it is kind of a coalition of not just non-governmental entities, but with input and support from the Belize Forest Department, but most importantly from communities within our area, communities that are in fire-prone areas like the savannah that have to deal with wildfires threatening their homes, their properties, their livelihoods, their health and well-being. And so it's a collective effort to reduce the impact of fires.
He explained that the zoo has taken additional measures to ensure that the animals survive the heat wave, such as the addition of a new pond and trucking in over 2,000 gallons of water daily. Buxton said that we should try to assist animals in any way possible.
I think we've got to think of the birds and the animals in the same way as we think of ourselves. We know that heat drives thirst. The moisture that we have in our bodies evaporates so much faster. So it would be really nice if people could think about other species on this planet and maybe provide a water source for them. We've got some really amazing families that are putting out drinking bottles that they've created from old plastic bottles, which is absolutely fantastic. And also think about the domestic animals that we have. It's not enough now just to tie a dog with a little bowl of water. In this temperature, we need to make sure that they have a lot, like a bucket full. So I think we've got to be more thoughtful.
Britney Gordon for News 5.